I love the Jack Reacher books, and if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you like them too. Exit Strategy, the 30th book in the series, that's quite the milestone. Written by Lee Child and his brother Andrew Child. This one dropped late last year, and I just finished reading it, so let's break it down. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this particular book, I want to linger a bit on what makes the Jack Reacher books tick, what makes this character tick, because understanding that key ingredient is the key to appreciating a good Jack Reacher book and determining where this book falls as either good or bad entry into the series. Reacher's personality is the secret sauce to all of these books. Take his wanderlust, for instance, probably the most famous Jack Reacher trait. It's not just aimless drifting, it's his philosophy. Born into a military family, constantly on the move as a kid, he carries that rootlessness into adulthood. No house, no car, no commitments. He buys a new shirt when the old one is dirty. He folds his toothbrush into his pocket for portability and hitches rides on buses or hitchhikes and goes wherever the wind blows. It's liberating to read about, and whenever I'm on a road trip going somewhere, a Jack Reacher novel audiobook is a fantastic travel companion. And of course, Jack Reacher has an inexplicable knack for finding trouble, or for trouble finding him. It's almost comedic how it happens. He'll stop for a slice of pie at a diner, overhear a shady conversation, and bam, he's unraveling a conspiracy and kicking ass. He never wants it. He'd rather sip his coffee in peace, black coffee of course, but when push comes to shove, his military-honed skills kick in, his investigative knowledge kicks in, and he goes to work solving the problem at hand. I love that he has a clock in his head, an inexplicable knowledge of exactly how much time has passed. It's a useful tool. It's never explained why, maybe he's just a bit of a savant that way. And he's fantastic with numbers, which comes into play quite often. In this particular book, Exit Strategy, he makes mention of a palindromic prime number, a prime number that's the same forwards and backwards, and he just says, I noticed that sort of thing. I'm glad that those Reacher elements are in this book. Reacher ruthlessly deals with trouble at hand whenever he comes across it in these books. He's not sadistic, but he's efficient. Bad guys get what's coming to them, often with a single devastating blow. Reacher gets his retaliation in first. And then Reacher moves on without remorse. It's cathartic, especially when the villains are truly despicable. It's fun to read about people getting their comeuppance. Like corrupt officials or human traffickers, these elements combine to create a character who's larger than life, yet relatable. As for the latest entry in the series, Exit Strategy specifically, this book is probably the best of the post-Lee Child solo-era novels. And that's saying something given the mixed bag we've had lately. Calling it a mixed bag is sort of being polite. The most recent Jack Reacher novels have not lived up to the previous. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is what it is. To say otherwise would be denying reality, and that's not something Reacher would like. The early Andrew Child collaborations felt like a passing of the torch, but as Andrew took more control of things, the book quality just dropped. Plots became more convoluted, with too many threads that didn't go anywhere or didn't connect in any kind of seamless way. The prose lost a lot of that crisp, punchy style that Lee Child mastered. Worst of all, Reacher himself sometimes felt off, less of the silent observer and more chatty or receptive in ways that didn't ring true to his character. He would go up to a stranger and that stranger would just info dump at Reacher in ways that normal humans wouldn't. The dialogue was clunky in the newer novels. But here in Exit Strategy, Andrew seems to be finding his footing a little bit better, and it's a welcome change. Reacher feels more like the actual Jack Reacher character we've read about before. Those signature traits shining through stronger than in the last few outings. He's back to his calculating self, using mental math to outsmart his opponents in clever ways. The wanderlust is front and center here. He starts off meandering. As he does, he quickly stumbles across a mess involving blackmail, targeting vulnerable people, which spirals into a bigger scheme with interconnected stakes, international intrigue, a little bit of a wag the dog situation where bad guys are orchestrating a war for profit, high-tech intrigue. It's classic Reacher territory. Small town vibes meet big world threats. The plot here is entertaining, even if it's somewhat ridiculous. But honestly, that's par for the course in these later entries. There are twists that keep you guessing, some red herrings that work well, and some action sequences that deliver the goods. I appreciate how Andrew Child leaned into Reacher's quirks more in this book, but he's better at describing those personality quirks in this novel and using them in this novel. The ruthless takedowns are there too, when Reacher dismantles the foes in brutal, efficient fashion that feels authentic. Sure, some of the plot points don't land perfectly, a couple of the subplots feel tacked on or even forgotten about, and the pacing drags in the middle where we juggle multiple perspectives, which can get a little bit confusing, but overall, it's a step up from the previous novels like In Too Deep, which have even more meandering narratives and less Reacher-esque flair. But credit where credit is due, Andrew Child is getting better at capturing the essence of the Jack Reacher character. He's not all the way there yet, but he's improving. He's honing in on what fans crave. The no-nonsense justice, the way Reacher sizes up situations with cold logic, there are enough echoes of why I love Jack Reacher to get me through this novel, even if I found myself chuckling at a few things in the book that didn't quite seem right. Don't get me wrong, it's not at the level of classics like The Killing Floor. Those were tighter stories with sharper dialogue and raw energy that made those 400 or so pages feel like nothing when you read them. Exit Strategy has heart, but it lacks a lot of the electrical spark of the previous novels. That said, it's probably time to talk about winding down the character of Jack Reacher, sad to say. Canon established Reacher's date of birth as October 29th, 1960, so do the math. By the 2020s time frame of these recent novels, he's a man in his mid-60s. He's old enough now to be on Medicare. To have him still meandering around, fighting bad guys the same way he did when he was in his 30s and 40s, it seems a little bit of a stretch, even in fiction. Sure, he's always been portrayed as exceptionally fit and big, but age catches up to absolutely everyone. As the years tick by, it's getting harder and harder to suspend disbelief. The series has been going on strong for decades, delivering thrills since 1997, but maybe it's time for an exit strategy for the Reacher character himself. That might not be the worst idea. Perhaps a final arc where Lee Child takes a little bit more creative control, let the character have his ride off into the sunset moment with maybe a final trilogy of novels. It could give the character a dignified send-off that he deserves after all these decades. Bottom line, Exit Strategy is a mild recommendation from me. If you're a completionist who's read all other 29 novels in the series, or you just want a Reacher fix, or if you just want to read a fun thriller and you know nothing about Reacher, this book is fine. It's mostly entertaining, although if you've never read Reacher, I wouldn't start here, but this is a good self-contained little thriller, even if a little convoluted and silly. It's entertaining, it's got heart, but it doesn't hold a candle to the golden era. Still, seeing Andrew improve gives me hope that the series will continue, and improve as it does. It might recapture some of that older magic. We'll have to wait and see. Did you read Exit Strategy? What did you think of the book? Do you prefer the old school Reacher novels, or maybe you think the newer books have a fresh feel and you like them better? Drop your comments down below. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you want to read some novels from an independent author, check out my novels at ericwilfredwatson.com. None of my books are quite like Reacher novels, but if you're a Reacher fan, I'd probably start with Judas Kissed. My name is Eric Wilfred Watson. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Eric Wilfred Watson signing out.